Also had a nice Thanksgiving week, and welcome to the Mindfulness and Meditation for Health and Well-Being. I certainly hope everybody's had the time to watch the first video, but if not, we're going to do a quick review, and hopefully we can get back to that first video when you guys can. This will be a 4-part series, and they do run consecutively and kind of build on each other, so they will be online, and so you guys can be able to watch them if you haven't seen the first one. Anyways, my name is Susan D'Agostino. I'm a retired registered nurse. I'm also a certified mindfulness and meditation instructor, and I'm also a Qigong instructor. I did study mindfulness and meditation through the McLean Meditation Institute. I was originally in Arizona, now in California, and Qigong instructor here in Florida. Did my study and practice. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start our PowerPoint presentation. And let me go ahead and, why is this not moving forward? Okay. Cindy seems not to be, oh, here we go. Okay, so we'll just start with a quick a reminder of what mindfulness is. So mindfulness means maintaining a moment by moment awareness of our thoughts, feelings, bodily sensations, and surrounding environment through a gentle, non-judgmental awareness and nurturing lens. So what does that really mean? It just basically means being here in the present moment, having an awareness of what is going on right now versus what happened yesterday, tomorrow, 10 minutes from now. And this is something that's often developed with the practice of meditation. So this is a cute little slide that shows, is your mind full or are you mindful? And this is where we begin when we start to develop a mindfulness practice. We begin just really knowing what mindfulness is. This might not be something that we ever even think about. And then all of a sudden we take a class like this and we start thinking about what does mindfulness mean? What does it really mean for me? That term is thrown around a lot. It's all over the news. It's on magazines. Every time you go to the grocery store, look at a magazine or something about mindfulness. And we start to think about this. This is what I'd like everybody to think about what this term really means for you. And over the next month or so, become aware of what mindfulness means in your daily life. Just being present. We're going to start today with just a mindful moment practice. And this is something that you can use in your daily life. We did this on the last session, and I always think this is a good way to just start a practice real quickly. So I am going to take the video off and just talk for a moment. And okay, and let's start our mindful moment practice here. Okay, what I'd like everybody to do right now is just kind of get comfortable in their chair. If you're seated in a chair, and that would be best for this class and for future classes. But if you're laying down, that's okay, although people tend to fall asleep when they're laying down. So it's preferable that you're sitting in a chair. And I'd like you to get comfortable in your chair, put your feet on the ground, hands on your lap. And we'll just start a little quick mindfulness practice right here to start our class today. So now that we're all comfortable in a chair, I invite everybody to either close their eyes or take a downward gaze, or maybe even look at this slide if it makes you feel peaceful and relaxed. Okay, so for this moment, I'd like you to take a slow, deep breath. Inhale through your nose, and then slowly let it out through your nose. And as you're breathing in and out, I want you to think about the word gratitude. Now that we've passed Thanksgiving and we're entering the holiday season, this is a nice practice to have, to just start believing in gratitude. As you breathe in and you breathe out. You can feel grateful for something simple, something you're experiencing in this moment. It could be the experience of being alive on this day, or feeling comfortable in your chair, or just feeling present and having this intention to be here in this class. So this is basically the practice of gratitude in a mindful moment. Just choose one thing to notice and allow it fully into your experience. Let appreciation and gratitude arise and fill your body, your mind, and your breath. As you're taking that long, slow, deep inhale through your nose and letting it out slowly through your nose. If you feel more comfortable doing it through your mouth, that's also okay. You just want to make sure that it's a nice slow inhale and a nice slow exhale. As you bring these things to mind for what you're grateful, allow yourself to rest in the experience. Allow yourself to rest in the experience of gratitude for the next few moments. So you're feeling gratitude as you bring your full attention to the sensation of the inhale and the exhale. This is what we're known, or what we call, a mindful breath. So let's just continue the practice of mindful breathing for a minute or so. Hopefully your eyes are closed by now. You're feeling fully relaxed in your chair. And I'll just stay silent for a moment as we take our nice inhales and exhales, as we begin to relax and feel this present moment awareness. Okay, as you begin to open your eyes, continue to feel this feeling of gratitude and thankfulness. Begin to awaken slowly and without rush. How do you feel right now? Think about that and think about how you feel. Are you feeling gratitude? You're feeling this present moment. You're feeling that sense of relaxation. This is what we call a mindful moment. This is available to you at any point of your day. This is something you can do whenever you're feeling stressed. Just stop for a moment, take a few slow, deep breaths. You don't necessarily have to add gratitude. You can just concentrate on your breath and the awareness of breathing, and the feeling of relaxation that you have in your body as you do that, and as the tension begins to decrease, and maybe you're able to react a little more appropriately to a situation that could be tense or full of stress at that moment. Okay, we'll move on to the next slide. I don't know why this is not going forward. Here we go. So what is meditation? And like I said, we're going to briefly go through a couple slides that we did already. A technique, a practice, a natural state of deep rest. And we went through this in the first video. So I'm not going to really explain these as much as I had in the first video. And if you'd like to review, I think that's always a good idea to go back. Meditation. And why do people meditate? People meditate for many, many reasons. These are some of the reasons. And like we talked about in the first video, meditation takes many forms: sitting meditation, walking meditation, grounding, qigong, yoga. There are many ways to meditate. And what we're doing in this course is basically sitting meditation and breath awareness. And what are the requirements of meditation? Obviously, your willingness, your non-judgmental, gentle attention, and a focus for your attention. Very important is this non-judgmental, gentle attention as we meditate. When you have thoughts, when you have things that are going on in your mind, not to judge them, just to basically say it's a thought, and let that thought flow. Think about it, do what you need to do, but not judge it. And that's a very important concept in meditation as we move away from judging ourselves all the time into self-compassion and self-care. And some of the essentials of meditation we talked about in the first video also, that oftentimes when you begin your first experiences in meditations, you start to realize how many thoughts you're having constantly. There's studies out there that show that people have something like 60,000 thoughts a day that just kind of take over our lives and we don't even realize it. And the first time you sit down to meditate, you realize, wow, my mind really never stops. It's one thought after another and another. And that's okay. It's okay to have thoughts. As you begin a meditation practice, you'll start to see that you're able to calm those thoughts, and they possibly even, not have a lot of thoughts as you meditate, as you become more adept at the practice of meditation. Don't try too hard. Try to be a pleasant situation. There's really not a time limit of how much you should meditate. At the beginning, some people can do a minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. And then, as you feel the practice works better for you, you might move into sitting, into walking, other types of meditation. Studies do show, though, that 20 to 30 minutes a day are ideal, and every day if you can, to get the true benefits of meditation. Let go of any expectations. Basically, every meditation experience is different. We go back to that: be kind to yourself, non-judgmental, self-compassion, self-care experience that you should be having, and to stick with the practice. You need to do this to really experience the physical, the mental, and the spiritual benefits of meditation over time. It's not going to happen the first time, the second, maybe the third, maybe the 10th. Everybody's different. So like exercise, it's a practice, and as you do it more and more, you get better at it. And some of the misconceptions of meditation, which we went through on the first class again, and I'll let you guys go through these yourselves at your own time. And if you have any questions at the end, there will be time for questions and answers. Okay. Number 6 is somewhat of importance, though. I can't sit cross-legged. When you meditate, there's no particular position you should be in except for in a comfortable position. You don't have to sit cross-legged on the floor in a yoga pose. If that's comfortable for you, that's good. Sitting in a chair, laying down, hopefully not falling asleep. Some people do walking meditations and other types of meditations. But for the purpose of this class, I find that most of what we're going to do is in a chair, sitting meditation, and utilizing the mindful breath awareness technique. So what I'd like to do here is, when you see a slide like this, it's just kind of to remind you to take a nice, slow, deep breath in and out, and practice that mindful moment and the breath awareness, so that you're beginning to understand what a mindful moment is and what breath awareness is, and that this is a practice you can do at any time of the day, at any moment. It's always available to you. You're always breathing, so there's all types of physical benefits in just stopping and taking a deep breath in and out. So there we go. A nice little break there with a mindful moment. And we did talk about some of the benefits of meditation. Today, we're primarily going to concentrate on the physical benefits of meditation. And in the 2 classes left, we'll concentrate on emotional and mental. So we've run the full spectrum of the benefits of meditation. The first class talking about meditation in and of itself, this one the physical, and the next one would be emotional, and then one after that mental. So some of the physical benefits, and there's a long list, as you can see. So there's so many benefits to meditation, but the most important one is probably the first two. Reduces your levels of stress hormones, cortisol and adrenaline, and it actually increases your endorphins, your happy hormones, which are, dopamine and serotonin. So we begin to rebalance our hormones, and very importantly is the reduction of the stress hormones, cortisol and adrenaline, in how they impact our immune system. And this is obviously very important for us with sarcoid. As we begin to reduce our levels of cortisol and adrenaline, it actually can calm the immune system over time. So that's really, really important. This was something I began to see over time when I began meditating, daily, like 5 years ago, how much better I felt, how much I felt that my nervous system was more balanced. I didn't feel that fight or flight, the fear, the tensions, the anxieties all the time, which is something we all feel when we're first diagnosed with sarcoid. It's that big ocean of unknown. So many people don't know anything about sarcoid, and we end up being more experts than some of our own physicians. And that ability to reduce that level of stress really optimizes our immune system. Again, you can see some of the lists, and these are all scientifically proven. The physical benefits of meditation: lowers blood sugar, lowers cholesterol, reduces your stress, increases your energy, improves sleep. Sleep is particularly important, as we know that sleep is the number one way to really calm our nervous system and to reduce stress. Sleep, something that we all suffer from. So that number way that we can reduce stress is sleep. So when we begin to meditate and develop better sleeping patterns, we are naturally decreasing our stress levels, which is kind of a big plus, and then we sleep better. We're sleeping, instead of 3 or 4 hours at a time. And for those of us that have menopause, we can relate to this. Maybe you're sleeping 5 or 6, and you start to know that your sleeping patterns are more restful. You feel more restful when you wake up. You're not as tired when you wake up. So that's also very important in our overall health, obviously. And the fact that it does reduce inflammation for all of us with sarcoid, which we know this is an inflammation disease, basically an inflammation mediated disease, that's a huge plus. So I think physical benefits of meditation will reduce our levels of stress hormones, thereby reducing inflammation, increasing our happy hormones, improving sleep. These are all things that probably every single one of us wants in our daily lives. So those are great benefits for meditation on the physical side. Now you could go into each one of these through a physiological response. And as a nurse, I probably know every single one, and they're very complicated. So we're not going to do that, but it's just an overall picture of all the things that could improve. It's not to say everything will improve, but you can target certain things that you want to improve in your life, and meditation will help. I had this slide on the first one, but I love it so much. I always put it what fits your busy schedule better. Meditating 30 minutes a day, or it's pretty graphic, being dead 24 hours a day. But the whole concept here is wow, what a great tool meditation is. And yes, more and more doctors are recommending some type of meditation, whether it's Tai Chi, Qigong, sitting meditation, walking meditation. So this is a great slide. And really at the FSR, I really did see so many physicians talking about this. I was so pleased that so many physicians are looking at the alternative methods of decreasing stress and how it can help us, especially for those of us with sarcoidosis. I didn't mention at the beginning of the presentation, but I did mention at the first presentation, I do have sarcoidosis. So I know what many of you are going through. I've probably personally gone through many of the same experiences. And through time, over the last 5 years, I've developed somewhat of a practice of meditation, qigong, breathing, things like that, that have helped me in my daily life kind of to get through. So what I'd like to do here is kind of a couple of practices for qigong breathing. We're not going to do so much mindful movement. Qigong in and of itself would be a whole series there, because there's a lot of different ways to do qigong and mindful movement. So we're just going to sit in our chairs. I'm going to see if I can get a better picture here so you guys can see. And we're going to do some qigong breathing that really would help. And I do some of this almost every morning, and it helps in expanding the lungs and basically improving your lung capacity. So the word qigong, qi is a word that the Chinese use for energy, and gong basically means the practice. So it's the practice of moving energy in the body. Qigong is an old, very old, actually medical treatment in China, probably somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000 years old. And truly the Chinese in medical qigong, and they actually have a whole concept called medical qigong, are trying to utilize the mind, body, spirit concept to bring the three in flow, mind, body, and spirit, through the method of medical qigong. In China, there are actually hospitals that, and especially during COVID, it was really interesting. I saw a video not too long ago in one hospital in China that people with COVID every day go to qigong practice classes, and basically what they're doing is working with the lungs, expansion of the lungs, bringing oxygenation to the lungs. So along with medical treatment, they're also using qigong, and I thought that was just like so fascinating that they were doing that. So, not to have a whole lecture on Chinese medicine, but in Chinese medicine, there are 12 meridians, basically, like the nervous system, the respiratory system, but they're called meridians, and we're going to basically work with the lung meridian today in this short qigong practice. So as you're sitting in the chair, I'd like everybody to again be comfortable. Maybe at this moment, take a sip of water if you have some nearby, or get a glass of water before we get started. And hydration is a very, very important thing for us for anyone really, for health reasons, but also in particular with anybody that has sarcoid. So you may want to just take a sip of water right now before we get started with just a very simple couple minutes, 5 minutes or so of qigong practice right here. Okay, so the first thing I'd like everybody to do is take their hands, and remember, our body is energy. Everything that we have in our body is energy. Shake them at your side, and basically you're kind of awakening the qi in the body. You can move them around a little, or just shake your hands down by your legs as you're sitting. Okay, and just go ahead and stop. And I'd like you to take your hands and place them here at the clavicles, right here on your neck. And I want you to take that mindful moment breath, breathing in and breathe out, because what we want to do here is have an awareness of what breathing feels like with our hands, feeling the energy of what breath is. So take a deep breath in and out as much as you can. In, feel the chest rise, and exhale. And do that a couple of minutes. I want you to actually feel what the chest feels like when you breathe. So right there, we're feeling the energy of the breath, the energy of our body, the energy of our chest rising and falling as we inhale and exhale. Okay, now we're going to take our hands down to our abdomen, more or less at the level of the navel. I'm just going to go ahead and stand up, and I want you to do the same. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and sit down. I just want you to see where to place your hands. And I'd like you to take a deep breath in and out again, and feel now the abdomen as it rises when you inhale and exhale. Now, as you're taking that deep breath in and out, you're actually feeling the what's called abdominal breathing, but it's also the lungs, the lower part of the lungs that are inflating and exflating as you feel, inflating and deflating as you're taking that deep breath and you feel the abdomen rise and fall. If you don't feel your abdomen rise and fall, you're not taking a deep enough breath. And some of you may not be able to, but this is a nice practice over time that you can start to do. And over time, maybe train your abdomen to rise and fall. And as you do that, know that you're actually bringing more oxygen into the lower part of the lungs. Because we want to fill our lungs from top to bottom as we breathe. And deep breaths really, abdominal breathing really focuses on the lower part of the lungs. So that's just kind of a nice body awareness feeling. And those are very simple exercises you can do every day. So now we're going to do another exercise. I'd like everybody to just bring their hands like in a very loose fist position, basically right in front of your face, close to your eyes. And you're going to, okay, I'm going to do the first one and then you guys can do the same. You're going to inhale, stretch, not really far back, but a nice little stretch. And then exhale and come forward and sort of bow your head to your hands. So what we're doing again here is expanding the lungs, taking a deep breath in and out. So let's go ahead and get started. Deep breath in, hands out, nice stretch. You're feeling your spine stretch and breathe in. Hands to the face, a little bit of a bow of the head. And again, breathe in, see if you can hold it. Now, as you do this stretch, what you want to do is make that inhale last all the way. So you're going to go inhale, 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 stretch. And exhale all the way. So you're inhaling, hold the breath, exhale. Inhale, bring the head back, stretch the spine, and exhale, bring the head in. And inhale again. You can do this with eyes open or eyes closed, whichever you feel more comfortable with. And exhale. Let's do two more. Inhale. Inhale. Okay, hands down to your lap. Nice, simple exercises. You can do this outside. If you have a nice yard, it's a beautiful day, standing, sitting in the chair, whichever way you feel more comfortable with. Okay, and we're going to do a couple more. So what I would like everybody to do is take their hands like this cupped and basically bring it to the level of the navel. So you have your hands cupped at the level of the navel. Okay, feet should be on the ground. You should be in a somewhat relaxed position. And again, we're always working with the breath and Qigong, inhale and exhale. So we're going to I'm going to do the first one. So you'll see, bring your hands up and an inhale. As much as you can inhale and then stretch and then palms up like this at the top and looking up and then basically bring the hands down like in a ball. There you go, like that. Okay. And then we flip the hands over into a cup position. I'd like everybody to do it this time. Cup position, inhale upwards. Hands stretched. And down in a ball position. And Qigong is always about energy. We're reaching up to the earth. We're pulling the energy from the earth. We're bringing it to the body. And again, taking the earth's energy from the bottom, hands cupped. Nice stretch. If you have to breathe a couple of times, that's okay. Depending on your lung capacity, how well you do, stretch. And now bring the energy down from the sky. We're bringing the energy to the body. And then hands cupped again, bringing the energy from the earth. And these are always done in slow movements with a concentration of breath, present moment awareness, hands in a ball position. Bring the energy down towards the body, grabbing the energy from the earth, cup position. Stretch and bringing the energy down from the sky. Okay. That's also a very simple breathing exercise. We'll keep our hands on our laps right now. And the last practice we're going to do here is opening the lung meridians. That's the lung meridians is the channel, or it's basically opening our respiratory system with some simple self-massage techniques. So we'll go ahead and get started. I'll do the first one. So basically, and if you want to join in as I'm doing it, that's fine too. I'm going to stand up here because it might be a little bit easier for you to see me doing this standing. Okay, so we take our hand and turn the slide off. We take our hand and we're going to slap our chest right here, past the clavicle area. There's no real number of times, you just do it for a couple seconds. Should be not a soft slap, but not a hard slap. Something you kind of feel. And you're going to bring your hands out to your side with your palms facing up, right? We're going to open the lung meridians, and you're going to slap down your hands, down the arm, all the way to the tip of the fingers, and you flip your hand and slap that side, the upper side of the arm. So we'll go ahead and get started. So everybody will start slapping here. Your arm should be out to the side, palm facing up. Okay, now we go down, slap the inner side of the arm. We're now at the elbow area. We're working our way down. Slap the hand, flip the hand. There we go. And we'll do that again. Slap the inner part of the arm, working our way down towards the elbow, hands up. Slap the hand, flip the hand. Basically, we're opening up the lung and respiratory channels here. Okay, now we're going to do the other side. Slap right there at the clavicle area, hand facing up. And there's almost a natural tilt of the head as you do this to the other side. So you're slapping your right side, head tilted to the left, or slapping your left side, head tilted to the right. Okay, we're going to work our way down on the inner side of the arm, palm facing up, all the way down to the hand, flip the hand, work our way up. Palm should be facing up now again. Work our way down the arm. Palm facing up. Flip our hand down, palm facing down. Palm facing up now again. Slapping our chest. Okay, so we slap our way down our arm with the palm facing up. Face your palm down and slap your way up. Okay, and then the last one, it's basically a Tarzan kind of movement that we do. We take our fists, close them, and lightly, not hard, we want to pound our chest. You can pound up and down. And this is basically awakening the chi in the lung meridians in the lungs. Very nice practice if you suffer from any kind of mucus production or anything. You may start to cough, and that's not a bad thing. And you can do that a couple of times. And then as we finish, we just basically do a self-massage. Kind of just letting go of some of that energy. Hard hands down at the side and just basically shake. And I want you to just stand there for a moment or sit there, whichever one you're doing, and just have a present moment awareness of what energy feels like in the body. You've just woken up your lung meridians. You actually should feel some energy. You may feel it sort of in the space around you. You may feel it within your body. Just pay attention to your breath right now. I'm going to stay silent for a couple seconds. And I want you to feel that energy. You might feel a little sway of the body. That's normal. That's the energy in your body. If you feel dizzy, just hold on to your chair, or maybe you have to sit down. That's okay. That is the awakening of the chi, the energy in your body. This moment, just practice that mindful moment. Deep breath in and a deep breath out. Okay, I'm feeling a little dizzy, so I'm going to sit down. Okay, here we go. If you have some water nearby, this is a good time to drink a little water. Just take a mindful moment here. So these are some very simple practices that you can do every morning to awaken the chi in the body. It would take you 5 minutes and just kind of incorporate that mindful moment at the same time. What a nice little practice. Sometimes I wake up in the morning, I take my dog out as she's doing her business. I just kind of do my breathing exercises. Another good practice to do with Qigong is something called grounding. As you see in this picture, this gentleman is on the beach, looks like there's sand, and that's something called grounding. It's basically you're doing Qigong practice, but grounded to the earth. You can do it in your yard. You could do it in the dirt, in the sand. It's a nice practice that people do to feel the connection to nature. Actually, there are electromagnetic fields in the earth that really a lot of people believe, and some studies have shown that help balance the immune system. So this is also a really nice practice. Like when we were doing that cupping practice where I said, you're grabbing the energy from the earth and you're bringing it up. You see the ball? That's kind of what I was talking about. There are a lot of practices in Qigong where you have that ball practice, and it's basically the energy you're, having the energy, bringing it down, and then grabbing it from the earth again, releasing it to the sky, grabbing it from the sky. So this is a really beautiful kind of visual of how you can visualize Qigong, which many people do this way. So on the next couple of slides, I put 17 facts about Qigong. I'm not going to go through all of them, but they're just really interesting facts that we talked a little bit about already about Qigong. It's a gentle form of exercise, and basically how it balances mind, body, spirit. It is somewhat of a meditative state of mind because during Qigong, you should always be practicing your breathing patterns and an awareness of breathing. So you're breathing in, then you're releasing, breathing out. So there's a practice of mindfulness, meditation, exercise. And what we did basically was a sitting practice today, but there are many movements in Qigong, like thousands of them. And like I said before, there are 12 meridians that kind of pertain to the intestines, the stomach, the spleen, the heart, kidneys, the lungs. And the lungs for us is a really particularly important one in Sarcourt, and especially with COVID and everything right now, we want to keep our lungs in as good as an inflated position with fully oxygenated and healthy as much as we can. So these are really very simple practices that you could do every day. So it's like an old practice in China, 4 to 5,000 years old. And so when is the best time to do Qigong? Basically, it's best to do Qigong just like meditation on an empty stomach, or if you've eaten, 2 or 3 hours laterwards. Um, First thing in the morning, meditation or Qigong are great practices, or in the middle of the day after you've had lunch, let's say about 3 o'clock, you want to do this. And these are both really good practices at those times. And like I said, Qigong is being used in China a lot for the rehabilitations of patients with asthma and now COVID and with all kinds of respiratory problems. And there are actually hospitals in the US that are starting to do this too. And doctors who are starting to become more aware of Qigong instead of Tai Chi. Tai Chi is somewhat like Qigong. Probably people are asking, or what is the difference? But Tai Chi is more of what is considered a martial art. So it's more of like a karate, uses karate with movement practices, but Qigong is a slower practice, more medically oriented, more meditative oriented, and probably has more of a widespread practice, especially as we get older, or for anybody with a health disease that Tai Chi may be a little too challenging for. A lot of people move from Qigong to Tai Chi, or basically from Tai Chi back to Qigong. So it's just kind of what you like better. I personally, for me, I love Qigong. I find it much more meditative, a little bit easier to do, not so concentrated on so many movements and things, although there are lots of different movements in Qigong also, and different ways to practice Qigong. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I know Mindy told me that there is some Qigong practices online. I haven't looked at them, but I am going to. And I think Qigong is really such an awesome practice for our daily life. Mental benefits, we're not going to talk about today, but we will, and emotional benefits also in our next series. We'll have a day for mental benefits and then a day for emotional benefits. What I'd like to do here right now is to end the practice, and then we're going to go ahead and open up for questions and answers at the end. And we're going to practice something that's super common in meditation. It's called a body scan meditation. And this is going to be about a 10 or 15-minute meditation. So again, I would like everybody to be very comfortable in their chairs, feet on the grounds if possible, hands on your lap, and have a sip of water maybe if you'd like at this time. And we're going to go ahead and do what is called a body scan meditation. This practice is going to make you very relaxed. You may fall asleep, and that's okay at some point, but then wake up and realize that you fell asleep. And just, if that should happen to you, what I'd like you to do is just become aware of the breath again, and maybe you'll listen to my voice again, and I'm going to guide you through this practice. At points, I won't be speaking. And then at the end, we'll stay silent for a couple moments, and then I'll wake you up from the practice. So I'd like everybody to just go ahead and get comfortable. I'm going to go ahead and let you get ready. And I'm going to take my picture off so that you'll just listen to my voice now. Okay. So again, I'd like everybody to find a comfortable position in which to sit. If you're comfortable doing so right now, allow the eyes to gently close. I'd like you to start by turning or paying attention to the posture of your body. It's helpful if you keep your spine straight, At the same time, you begin to relax the muscles around the spine here in your back. And we're going to use our breath to aid in this body meditation and in this process. So you can begin to breathe in and paying attention to the breath as you breathe in and you breathe out. As you breathe in, you may feel the coolness of the air. And as you breathe out, you may feel the warmth. As you exhale, just gently say to yourself, let go. Allow your shoulders to drop. Let there be some slack in the jaw and soften the belly. So let's allow for a few deep breaths like this, allowing your shoulders to drop, the face to soften, and the belly to soften. So we're going to inhale relaxation and exhale tension, fears, anxieties, stressors. Okay. We'll start the body scan by turning in or paying attention to the top of the head. Just bring your awareness to the top of the head. Can you feel the hair on your scalp? The temperature of the air on your skin, on your head, your face? There's no right or wrong way to feel anything. Just tune into whatever is physically present. So now I'd like you to bring an awareness into the forehead, the brow, top of the head, the forehead, the brow. Feel the air, feel your skin. Whatever is present, just simply be with it. So now I'd like you to bring an awareness into your eyes and your cheekbones. Even with your eyes closed, you may notice some movement in the eyes. Now bring your awareness to the tip of your nose, your upper lip. Here you can feel the body breathing gently and naturally. You have an awareness of what the air feels like as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Now bring an awareness to your mouth, your jaws, the lips, your tongue. You may notice the moisture of your tongue, how the tongue is resting. You may notice some tension in your jaw. And you want to release that tension. Just release any stress you may feel in the body right now, especially in your face. As you begin to breathe in and breathe out, you notice a softening of the head, the face. Possibly now you begin to notice a softening of the neck, the throat, your shoulders as you breathe in and you breathe out. Let go of any judgments, any thoughts. Return to the actual body and to the breath. We move on to the tops of the shoulders and the shoulder blades. We begin to feel our shoulders begin to relax. They begin to drop as we release tension. Notice any movement of the breath, the sensation of the clothes on your body. Now we drop down into the upper arms and elbows again. You notice the relaxation of the arms, your fingers on your lap, how they feel relaxed. You're beginning to feel the body just relaxed, always bringing yourself back to the breath, letting go of all judgments, letting go of all thoughts, returning to the physical body and to the breath as you inhale and you exhale. Notice how your hands feel on your laps. Now we want to come back to the chest. Rest here for a moment, tuning into the breathing. We notice the rising and falling of the chest, the expansion and the contraction, the natural movement of the body breathing. We begin to drop down into the abdomen and stomach. Again, noticing the sensations of the body breathing. Now we'd like to drop down into the hips, the pelvis, the butt. You feel the point of contact where your body meets the chair or the cushion. Take a moment to feel these sensations. Let's bring an awareness to the thighs and knees now. Notice any points of contact, the clothes on the body, the hands on your lap. And just bring an awareness to that part of the body right now. Now we begin to drop down our legs to the calves, the shins, the ankles. Whatever you feel here, just be present with it. And let's finally move into the feet, going over the heel, the arch, the ball of the foot, the toes, the top of the foot. Tune into the points of contact. You may feel your shoes, you may feel the floor, your socks. Just feel those points of contact. Right now, you're feeling a sense of total body relaxation. If you should have any discomfort, you can shift your body in the chair. If you're having any pain, you may want to concentrate on that particular point and breathe into it. And inhale and exhale. Exhale. Inhale and exhale the tension, any discomfort you might be feeling. So let's take a moment here to tune into the whole body from head to toe. You may want to take a deep breath, feel the breath energy as it moves through the body. You can get a sense of the entire outline or posture of the body as it rests here. Let's take a few moments and enjoy this sense of relaxation as you breathe in and you breathe out. If at any moment you feel any discomfort, you can shift your position in the chair. And we'll just stay silent for a few moments. And I'll have you open your eyes in a couple of moments. But for right now, let's just stay silent, enjoy the relaxation of the body. Keep your eyes closed, but when you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes. Have an awareness to how relaxed and how your body feels at this moment. Ask yourself, how do you feel right now? As you begin to open your eyes, you might want to shift your position in your chair. Maybe move and stretch a little bit. Have a sip of water. Totally aware of how your mind, body, spirit are connected at this moment. Aware of your mindful breath, your present moment, your non-judgmental awareness. How do you feel right now? Okay, we should all have our eyes open right now. Hopefully feeling a little bit blissful, a little bit relaxed, or a lot relaxed. Hope all of you enjoyed that. That's what's known as a body scan meditation. Usually it's a little bit longer, but I wanted to make sure we had some time for questions and answers at the end. Maybe Mindy's feeling a little bit blissful. Hopefully she'll be on here in a
Hi.
hi.
Hi, everybody. Sorry, I wasn't sure when I should come back. I was feeling blissful, actually, so that was quite nice. Thank you so much, Susan. I certainly hope everybody enjoyed that. I know I did. We have the Q&A option open. It's in our, there's a little bubble there, a little dual bubble at the bottom of your screen, most of you. It says Q&A. Try to put it there instead of in the chat if you'd like to ask Susan some questions. You don't have to if everyone's feeling very.
Usually it takes people a couple of minutes after they come out of meditation to get their druthers. But I found this slide last week and I said, oh my God, I have to put this because it's so true. You can meditate, burn candles, drink green tea, and still want to smack people. So meditation is not the end all and be all to life, but it does really help in your daily life and do less of smacking people, hopefully.
Right. That's great. Well, just so everyone knows, this week is our last week. We know we just got started, but we will be taking a break for the bulk of this December for the holidays, and we'll be back with Susan on January 9th at the same time. Everyone who's registered to attend the courses are pre-registered for that January 9th class and the class after that, I believe on the 12th. You don't need to do anything there. You'll automatically get the emails with the information and the link like today.
So what I maybe you have a question?
We have our first question. So bone sarcoidosis can be very painful in between treatments. Any more suggestions for dealing with pain?
Okay. I mean, that's a great question. I mean, a lot of people, and I'm certainly was one of them, having pain with sarcoidosis. I started out with ocular sarcoid, and it was extremely painful for almost 2 years. And meditation's not going to take away your pain. Obviously, you want to do your medical treatment, but the thing that you can do with meditation is sit with the pain, not judge the pain. And breathing into the pain, there's a lot of really, really good research about the work of breath awareness and pain control, and the acceptance of pain and not getting, because when you have pain, you tend to go into this whole cycle of tension, fears, anxieties, and that actually can increase the pain response. So one of the things you can do is breathe, and the awareness of breathing. And I don't want to use breathing as like the end all and the be all, because it's not. I mean, if you're on medications, you need to keep doing that. You need to go to your physician, but this non-judgmental concept of, okay, I have pain, sitting with the pain, breathing into the pain, at least relaxing the response to the pain, because pain creates this unbelievable physiological response that can actually increase your pain. So when you have pain, you may just want to sit down, and I used to do this, close my eyes, and it was very painful and everything, and just take those deep breaths, maybe listen to the ocean, whatever it is you like to listen to, some calming music, and just taking those breathing awareness practices and really using them. At the beginning, for most people who meditate, they end up having to use like an app. Like you can get on Calm, Headspace, Insight Timer, and put in guided visualizations. And there are actually some pretty good 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 meditations on pain and how to sit with pain and try to decrease some of the physiological response, but all the other responses that go with it, fear, anxiety, nervousness, is really what you're going to work with, is calming that nervous system. And we'll talk about that more when we do the the talk on some of the mental benefits of meditation. But that was a really good question.
Thank you, Susan. We have a few more here, so I'm going to try to get to them. So physical benefits say T cell activity, increased activity, and decreases inflammation. Does this sound contradictory?
Okay. Well, one of the benefits of meditation is actually decreasing that inflammatory response. Um, so when there's a huge cascade, a phenomenon that occurs in the inflammatory response, and that's what's actually happening with COVID right now. This what's known as the cytokine storm. So what we want to do again is decrease that immune response, and that's what we do sometimes. And I'm saying, meditation is kind of an adjunct to all the things that we do. Medications, our physicians, maybe you listen to calming music, you like classical music. So every little bit helps, because everything is a physiological response in our body. When we have an immune response, immune mediated response, what created it? That's the big mystery with sarcoid. What created this immune mediated response? No one knows, and it's still unknown out there. You could read a million articles, a million opinions, but what's creating this storm of an immune response, and what can we do to decrease it? So all the stress responses are immune mediated, so we want to try to work with that stress response, decreasing the response to whatever's going on in our body. Is it going to take it all away? Probably not, but it will help, and that's what we can do to help ourselves. And I think using meditation and some of these techniques will help, and it's this whole mind-body connection. What the mind, what your mind says to the body, is going to happen. If we continually, and some of us can know this, when we continually saying something, it actually happens. And so there is a connection to the mind body, and it's through the nervous system. And it's also through something called the vagus nerve that runs through our body to our gut. So we want to really decrease all those responses, and therefore decreasing that immune response. And that's what we do with some of these practices.
Thank you. We have two other really good questions. The first one is there anything specific I should do for cardiac sarcoidosis? Should I pull energy towards my heart and lungs, daily meditation and breath?
I'm I'm glad you asked that question. The bulk of my career was working in cardiology as a nurse. So everything that we do here, the lung and the heart work in tandem all the time. The whole body works in tandem, but especially the lung and the heart. One thing that I've always found with cardiac patients is I always used to tell cardiac patients when they meditated, put your hand to your heart. And it's almost like a sensation of connecting to the heart. It's a gratitude, feel grateful to your body for, we did a lot with the lung today, but if during meditation, especially when you do those mindful moments, you put your hand to your heart and you have a gratitude practice that, you basically thank your heart. You know that it's struggling, your body is struggling with this, and you want to bring sort of almost like a loving kindness to the heart. When we have diseases, we get angry at our lungs, we get angry at our eyes, we get angry at our heart. Why are you doing this to me? So we need to shift that thought, basically, and connect to whatever is causing you distress. So I always find that putting your hand on your heart, and by doing meditation, you're already lowering your heart rate, you're slowing down that cardiovascular response to stress, you're working on the physiological response, which obviously all those things affect your heart. So I would recommend that. Put your hand to your heart when you meditate, even if your hand falls because you're blessed, but you start with that meditation and a gratitude to your heart. I think that's a great practice.
Thank you. That's a great reminder. And then we have another question. I'm not naturally a still person, but really want to do this. I find when I start my meditation, I panic a bit and my heart starts to pound a bit. Will this stop as I practice and learn to meditate?
Okay. That happens to almost everyone who begins to meditate. So, you read all this stuff that says, oh, you should meditate for 20, 30 minutes, 7 days a week. Forget all that stuff. Start with a minute. Start with what we did at the very beginning, the mindful moment. Just usually that's a 1 to 3 minute practice. You just sit, or you could stand, you're in your kitchen cooking, taking a couple deep breaths. Start with that. When you feel comfortable with that mindful moment, that you start to become aware, wow, I'm really paying attention about to my breath. And, I've noticed my body, it's a little stiller and all that. That will create a stillness in and of itself and for a short period. But now you're becoming aware of what stillness is, and starting to feel that lessened stress. Once you get to that, maybe it takes you a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It doesn't matter. Again, it's all about the non-judgmental. Do this till it works for you. Don't compare yourself to anybody. And then you say, okay, today I'm going to try and sit for 3 minutes. Maybe you put music. It should be obviously not rock headbanger music, but something very calming. Or maybe you get on an app called Insight Timer, which is very good. I recommend that a lot. But there's Calm, there's Headspace, there's a lot of. At the end of this series, I'm going to give a lot of resources. And you sit, and you can go on those apps, and they say 1 minute. 1 minute breathing practice. Start with that and work your way up. It could take you 6 months. It doesn't matter how long it takes. And maybe your practice ends up being 5 minutes a day, and that works for you. You feel like, wow, with 5 minutes, I'm good. Some people need 20, some people need 30. The true physiological response to meditation, where over time you begin to have changes in the brain and everything, and we'll talk about that on the next class, really occurs at the 20 to 30 minutes period over 6 to 8 weeks. That's a goal maybe you can work on. It doesn't need to be done today. You're going to feel a response and a physiological response immediately, even with a mindful moment practice. So don't judge yourself. Start slow, work your way. And that's why it's called a practice. It's much like exercise. Oh yeah, I want to lose my belly, but if you don't do it over time and increase your sit-ups and your whatever squats and whatever exercise, you're never going to lose it. So it's a practice over time that you say, okay, my cardiovascular system is going to get great when I can do 30 minutes a day, but today I only can do 2. People that have a heart attack, when they go to cardiac rehab, they start with 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and by the end of 3 months, they're doing 45 and 60 minutes. That's because they were consistent in the practice, and that's why it's called a practice. So that's kind of what you want to do. And that's a homework that I'd like to give everybody, over the next month, before we come back in January. Mindful moments, you can do them 10 times a day, 20 times a day, it doesn't matter. If you're feeling comfortable with the mindful moments, move on to, you can listen to these. If you felt my voice was calming, and, not everybody feels my voice is calming, and that's okay. You can get on an app, find somebody, maybe you want a male voice, someone with a softer voice, you have to practice. Sometimes you get on those apps, and then you find somebody you really like, and you go, wow, that person really relaxes me. Then use them over and over. But there's thousands of voices out there on these apps, and you'll find somebody that you feel you connect with.
I have to say, there's an app where Patrick Stewart reads a story about himself. It weirdly is something that my niece, who's 4, was listening to. It's very relaxing. We have one final question, and I'm not quite sure if the person who asked this question could kind of clarify this a little bit. I'm going to just sort of read it as is, Susan. So I have cardiac sarcoidosis, just diagnosed between January and April. Doctors still trying to determine the treatment because the heart MRI and the SPC PETs seem to contradict each other in extent to heart scarring. I notice when I breathe in deeply, I strain and tighten my face, jaw, neck. Lung tests just taken, and everything there looks good so far. Kind of a meep, meep, meep to fill top of lungs. I just get a tickle like I'm going to cough, or actually dry cough, just below the notch in my collarbone. Is this common to feel?
I also have pulmonary sarcoidosis, and I have to tell you, at the very beginning, I would say 4 or 5 years ago, every time I took a deep breath, I coughed. Every time. So I think that's very common, depending on your lung capacity and depending on a lot of factors. That's why I always tell people to have a glass of water, drink a sip of water before, maybe during. In sarcoidosis, like many diseases, the dehydration, the dry mouth and all that, some of that is just normal. Some of that's because of some of the medications you take. So that's important to be hydrated, not only while you're meditating, but all the time. So this coughing thing that you may have when you take a deep breath, that's normal. So what you may want to do, especially when the Qigong exercises are excellent, the inflating and deflating and the stretching of the body, that I would say, when I was first diagnosed, I always was walking around taking deep breaths and then I would cough. And that doesn't happen as much anymore. Now, that's me, doesn't mean that's going to work for everybody, but I think the more you get a good flow of oxygen, expanding those lungs, strengthening the muscles in the lungs, that will help and possibly decrease that feeling of, I got a cough or I can't take a full deep breath, which is extremely normal with anybody with cardiac or pulmonary sarcoid. So again, it's the practice, the non-judging. Oh, I can take a deep breath up to here and then I cough. Okay, so that's where I'm going to stop for now. Maybe I'll do that for a week or two, and then maybe add a little deeper breath and say, oh, okay, I'm not coughing. So it's gotten a little bit better, but it's going to take time. It's going to take body awareness. And this is key, this awareness of what you can or can't do, and then not judging it. Oh, well, man, they took a deep breath in that class. Look at that. Nobody coughed, whatever. I didn't see the instructor cough. I actually muted myself once because I did have to cough. So, you know, it's the not judging yourself if you do cough. Oh, I coughed. Okay, it's okay. I tried, I did the best. I'm going to try again later, and keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing the practice. And you will see over time that it does get better. Again, it may not cure everything and you might not get to the deepest breath you want, but every little bit of oxygenation that you provide to your heart and lungs. You remember that heart and lungs are working in tandem. You help one, you help the other, you're going to see improvement. And not only that, the whole nervous system, the release of stress and anxieties and fears, everything is working together, body, mind, and spirit. But there's no miracle, and it's not going to happen overnight. And I think that's where most of us struggle. We want instant results, we want instant gratification, and there's no such thing when you have a chronic disease. It's a time, patience, awareness kind of practice that you have to do over and over and over.
Thank you very much. So we have just one more question, and that is around where the first video and where's the repeat of this one. So just so everybody knows, the very first link to the first video is in the email that you got with your link to join the one you're on right now. So it was in the very first paragraph. If you click on that link, you'll be able to see the video. Later, probably Monday, you'll see this one there as well. So the link won't change. It'll still be there, and we'll just start adding the videos to that page. It's not a published page, so you do have to have the link to get access to it. But you guys should have that in the email that you received to join this webinar. So if you have any trouble, just send an email to me, mindy@stopsarcoidosis.org, and I can get you there. So Susan, thank you so very much. Thank you guys, everybody, for joining.
Yes, thank you for being here.
It was amazing to have you guys here and participate, and these questions were fantastic. And we just appreciate you all so much for joining us. And Susan, we appreciate you for joining us very, very much.
It's my pleasure. I want to wish everybody the happiest of holidays. And remember, holidays are so stressful, and I'm sure some of us are already feeling it, along with sarcoidosis and COVID and the economy and so many things going on. So, practice that mindful moment, practice gratitude, practice as much as you can to get you through these holidays. And some of us, that's all we're going to be able to do, get through the holidays, and that's okay. We're going to start a new year. Hopefully things will be a little better, but let's get there. Let's be kind to each other. Let's be kind to ourselves, practice some self-compassion, and don't be so hard on yourself. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you all in January. Take some time, watch the videos if you can, do a little bit of exploration. I'll give you 3 apps right off the top. Insight Timer is one, Calm is another, and Headspace is another. And also Deepak Chopra. Oprah and Deepak Chopra put on meditation challenges all the time that are free. I think there's one ongoing right now, so you might want to look at the Oprah and Deepak Chopra meditation app. There's a lot of free stuff out there. So spend a little time exploring what works for you, and happy holidays to everybody. And Thank you, Mindy, for making Zoom so easy for me. I appreciate it.
You're always more than welcome. Happy to do it. All right, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you, Susan. Have wonderful holidays.
You
You guys will
too.
see me in the coming weeks when we have more videos of other kinds to show, and we'll see you all there.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.